Back at it again, man. A special edition, Reec Radio Live. Why? Because we got my brother in the building, man. My man been doing some things this week. As you know, you probably seen him before, Clippers and Cops. You seen him on CNN, BT, Fox, WSB, 11 Alive, a bunch of other news networks that I'm forgetting. This man has become worldwide known from the beautiful events and programs that he's been doing, just trying to connect the community to the police because of all the media and negative attention that comes along with the community's communication that goes to the people in the police. So Clippers and Cops is the program. If you're not familiar with it, please check it out, clippersandcops.com right now, and you can see all the amazing things my boy been doing for going on 3 years now.
Actually, 4
years now. Excuse me. Let me hit the hype bell for that. Half a decade on them real quick and counting. But this week we stepped away from the barbershops, and you've been hitting the schools hard. Now, this is not new to you. Been doing this, been in the schools, been having these conversations with teens and the kids that need it the most. But let's talk about this week a little bit. We wanted to recap and kind of go over, man. I read some of the recap letters from the kids, and they really tuned in to what's been going on. And most people I know looking outside in be like, man, the kids ain't about to talk to no police.
Right. Well, I've been mentoring for 18 years. I've been at it since 2004.
Yeah.
Started with a program called Project Grad with my buddy Deion Harrison and Rasheed Green, the owners of Milk and Honey.
Right.
We started that, and I've continued every year since. Fast forward to what we're doing now with Clippers and Cops. Clippers and Cops, we basically trying to bridge the gap between the community and police. And we said no longer should we bridge the gap because a bridge can be broken. We're going to try to fill the gap.
I like that.
And so from that, what we discovered is that the demographic that truly needed to be having these conversations, ages 15 to 25, they weren't coming to the barbershop. We might have a few, but not like sprinkled they need to be there. Yeah. So we came up with our Clippers and Cops campus invasion, where since they wasn't coming to us, we're going to go to them. Yeah. And we started with South Atlanta. Shout out to Tom Dunn, who brought us in over there. Nice. We've been to South Atlanta. We've been to Clark. We've been to Georgia State. We also went out of state to Columbia Academy, an all-white private school. Yeah. And we've had these conversations. So I was contacted by Assistant Fulton County Superintendent Chris Matthews, and he basically heard about the program from one of our gang prosecutors, Prosecutor Rivas, and he basically put us in touch. And I told him about the program, and he loved it. Yeah. And he basically brought us in to all 7 Fulton County schools, which includes Westlake, Banneker, Langston Hughes, Creekside, Tri-Cities, Peak, and both Peak Academy and Union City and Hapeville. And the goal is for us to have the same open dialogue. In our campus invasion, we basically talk to the kids about decision-making, goal-setting, do's and don'ts on traffic stop, conflict resolution, gang violence, gun possession, smoking weed, drug addiction, and things of that. We talk about everything. We also talk about music, and we actually dissect rap songs and different things like that, where we literally come down on their level. Every day, every school that we've went to so far, the kids, when they walk in, they like, I don't talk to 12, I don't mess with 12. And by the end, they don't even want to leave. Right. Because our Clippers and Cops team is as real as it comes. Yeah. And although we are cops, we are black men first. Yeah. And I think that it takes all of us. When people say what police reform looks like, I say us. Yeah, I think that it is the epitome of reform. Right. Because most of these kids don't have a conversation with an officer, whether they in clothes, in their uniform or not. And the way that it's approached is like, okay, we're going to bring some people in that's probably been through the same living situations, the same neighborhood type situations that you came up in, and we can really have that dialogue. Right. Right. And as we talk with the kids and we tell them our backgrounds, most young people see your shine. They don't know your grind or how you got to where you are. Right. And they think you just woke up like that. No planning, no nothing. And as you explained, even myself, I was expelled from high school. And I explained to them full circle, my current job is at the same office that I got expelled from.
Full circle situation.
Right, and their mouths are to the floor. But like I tell them, who made that decision to change, or who put me in that predicament? Me. Who made the decision to change? Me.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for them. I don't care where you're from. It's not where you are. It's where you're trying to go.
Yeah. And you're not squeaky. So it's like I don't have a perfect record. I don't have a perfect upbringing. So I'm like you, and I had the ability just like you do to do something better.
Correct. I explained to them I'm not from Atlanta. I'm migrated to Atlanta. I'm from St. Louis.
We see it everywhere on the shirt.
Man,
on your shirt, man. You represent, man.
I gotta represent where I'm from. I'm from St. Louis, and when you say St. Louis, the first thing people think is Ferguson. Ferguson, no offense to anybody that lives in the suburbs, was a suburb.
Right.
When you come to come to my neighborhood, holding my tracks, I grew up around gang violence, drugs, killing, and stuff also, and I had to navigate through all of that to be where I am and to get where I'm going. And it's no excuse about where you're from. If you make a decision that you're going to be successful, and a gang member told me this, if you change your people, places, and things, your life will change.
Wow. Yeah.
And when he told me that, I said, wow, that's profound, because it's true. If you change the people that you hang around, the places that you go, and the things that you incorporate in your life, you can honestly change it. It's just like dieting.
Yeah.
If you change the food that you're eating, and you're actually going to the gym, you can change your life, and it's the same thing.
That makes so much sense, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in right now. We kind of just recapping a little bit. What are some of those common themes that you see in each of these schools? Because you had different schools, different sides of town. And we had different barbershops all across the country, right? And you at schools all across the country. What's a common thing that you kind of points or stands out?
A lot of these kids, idle mind is a devil's workshop, and a lot of these kids don't have proper guidance, or they don't believe water's wet and fat meat's greasy. They hear about gang violence, they hear about these things, but they're attracted to it. And it's one of those things where they get sucked in, and before you know it, it's too late.
You think it's because of the exposure to it? Like it's so prominent in a lot of different things or different parts of life, or it just seems...
It plays a part in it, because it's like this. Like I tell the kids, the number one consumer of rap music and hip-hop culture is white kids. But white kids listen to rap music for entertainment.
Just like we watch movies.
Correct.
Right.
Our black kids are listening to rap music as a way of life, or a way to be. And it's unfortunate, because a lot of the entertainers that are involved in some of the music are being caught up in stuff themselves.
Right.
And it's one of those things where when most of these kids see better, they do better. And a lot of these kids don't have positive male role models. And when you can show them that you can still be the unicorn in your crew, you can be different. You ain't got to go down the same road. And like I asked them, how many of y'all know anybody that's in prison? How many of y'all talk to somebody that's in prison? How often do you talk to them? Has any one of them ever called you and said, boy, I can't wait till you get here? And the answer is no.
Right.
And so we have to quit glorifying the
route to get there.
Yeah, there's many decisions that can be made that can get you there. Like we talk about do's and don'ts on traffic stops.
Yeah.
And when you ask the class, what do you do if the police pull you over? The first thing they say is run.
Right, yeah.
Because they've been programmed to think that I need to run, because that's what everybody else is telling them to do. And it's like when you explain to them, like, you running over a bag of weed?
Right.
As a cop, I don't know you.
Right.
I don't know what
Why
you got
you
going
running?
on, or why you running. And as I'm chasing you, my adrenaline is up. I don't want you to hurt me. I don't want you to pull a gun on me. And there's things that could get you hurt, me hurt, and so forth and so on. And when you finally realize or finally catch up to each other, it's like, was it truly worth it? And the answer is no.
It seems to be that case with a lot of them, especially when y'all start to break it down. Like, what can happen when you run? What happens when you don't run? What happens the proper way to handle things? Don't argue on the street, because it's not good. You're not gonna win it.
It's just like watching a sports game, and you see the guys arguing with the referee. Most of the time, the call's not getting changed.
No, unless the coach challenges. There's no coach on the traffic stop.
And I'm glad you made that point. Now with the coach's challenge with instant replay, it's the same as watching a body camera and then dealing with it later.
Yeah.
And now
it's
you have
late,
somebody it's too late, but you have somebody else to scrutinize it. The goal is make it home. A lot of times at Clippers and Cops, we used to always say, I'm just trying to make it home. And somebody said, nah, I'm trying to make it home too.
Yeah.
And I took that to, that's true. We all just trying to make it home. But it takes two to argue.
Definitely.
And usually when you giving somebody attitude, they're going to give you attitude back.
Right.
And we just try to explain to them that it's a time and a place for everything. Right. It's a time and a place, and you have to make decisions on your actions. Conflict resolution. If somebody snatch your chain, is it worth shooting somebody over a $75 chain?
Right, because the consequence is going to be maybe the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Over that. And somebody said it's about respect. And I said, yeah, it's a lot of guys in prison that get a lot of street cred and respect. But I guarantee they'd rather be at home with their family, with their kids.
And they may not even be getting that respect in prison.
That's it.
Right, man. I appreciate that real conversation. That's what they needed, man. That's kind of why we wanted to bring you up here today to kind of recap and talk about the things that are going on. I know tomorrow you had another school.
We back at Tri-Cities tomorrow.
Okay.
So the goal was to be at every school twice. But they a lot of them are at the end of the year. They got end of the year festivities, graduations, and stuff like that. So we might not be able to do it. But the goal is for us to keep it going.
Yeah. And that shows something too, that a lot of these kids don't get consistency.
That's correct. And what we noticed is every year these schools are losing kids. They're either losing kids to violence or they're losing kids to prison and things like that, or jail, and it's one of those things where we trying to talk about it to plant that seed on this ain't the way to go.
Right.
There's so many other ways to go. We tell them about setting their goals. Setting goals is the roadmap to success. If you got goals in mind, you're not gonna be so quick to go jump in that hot box and ride around and do nothing.
Because them 10 minutes could ruin your life forever.
Yeah. And a lot of times a lot of parents don't sit down and have these conversations with their kids. And we have enough experience, law enforcement experience, and as adults, and we're comfortable in doing it. And every school that we've went to, it starts, I don't want to talk to 12, I ain't talking to the police. And by the end, like I said, they don't want to leave. And it's because they appreciate us just being normal. We have them do like evaluations at the end. And when you read what they say, it's priceless. Yeah. Because they want this knowledge. They want someone to basically teach them the game, the real way.
Game. And that's what we lack. And I just had this conversation with the group that was here before this, because they're doing an opportunity fair for kids. And I was saying that I could go outside in any neighborhood, right, any underprivileged neighborhood, and I can learn within 15 minutes 15 things to do wrong. Right. I can go outside, learn how to either prepare or move dope. I can go out how to get a gun, how to do this, that, and the third, right? But I can learn how to boost or scam. But I cannot learn how to goal set for real life, long term situations. I don't learn how to make, like you said, logical decisions instead of emotional ones. I don't learn how to do conflict resolution. I hear, man, he did that, but you go bust his head. But I don't hear, hey, man, let's go and talk to him. Let's figure this out. We don't hear that. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all are doing is priceless, but I just wanted to say I appreciate you and commend you on that, because you're not doing this to make money or to be on TV. You doing this to change lives, and you've been doing it.
The crazy part about it is,
although you should be getting $1 million, I'm gonna put that out there right now. Let's put that in the air.
It's one of them things where when you're doing something that you love to do, it doesn't feel like work. Because when you see the crazy part about every day this week at a different school, I see somebody that I saw before. On Monday, I saw some guys that actually I talked to in prison. Yeah. They were I used to be a part of this program called Real Talk with the Law with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Shout out to Danielle Wiley. She coordinates that. And the guys, when I walked out, they remember me from talking to them. And then I'm like, what are you doing with yourself? They're mentoring.
That's beautiful. And that's full circle.
So they're paying it forward. I go to another school. I see a kid that I talked to. He went to Renaissance Middle School. He's now in high school. Hey, you came and talked to us. So it's like God keeps giving me reminders that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm in the right place. When it comes to money and stuff like that, I feel like God will provide for me in whatever way that he see fit for me. And when it comes to these kids, if I save one kid life, you know what I'm saying? Priceless. It's priceless. Somebody gave me a quote. They said, God wants people to be able to get down and get dirty and plant that seed. Everybody wants to like the flowers, but nobody wants to plant the seed. Right. And we trying to plant seeds because I'm tired of I'm not a cop anymore, but when most of the people that came across my desk looked just like us. They were blacks or minorities.
Right.
And by the time they come across our desk, it's too late.
Yeah.
We can't talk. I can talk to you, but you still going. Now I'm trying to prevent you even going down that road.
Right.
Like, I don't want you to come across my desk. I want you to say, oh, yeah, I remember talking to them cops, and they said don't do that. And if that saves a kid's life, then we won.
Yeah, and it's not just about death when you talking about saving lives. You talking about maybe having an easier future or a more lucrative.
That's it. The whole thing is plan. A lady told me, she said, when I was 18 years old, she said, what are you going to do for the next 40 years? And I'm like, 40 years? And she was like, that's
right.
how you going to, she said, you think about it. You start working, you're going to work at about 20. You retire at almost 60. So you're going to work for about 40 years. She said, what do you want to do? She said, find something that you enjoy to do and get paid for it. And that's exactly what I tell the kids. Write down your goals, 1 year, 2 year, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And I said, that's your roadmap to success, because in life, family gonna die, you may get in a car wreck, things happen. And then you go back to those goals. What was I working on? Oh yeah, I was working on that. I'm gonna still work on that. And as you accomplish a new goal, scratch that out, put something else down. I'm 43 years old. I'm still accomplishing goals. I'm addicted to success. Yeah. Failing is not even in my mind.
Option.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I know I can do anything. Right. I've proven it over the last 20 years that anything is possible. I come from the same environments. It's no special formula. I ain't no superhero. I just chose to be successful.
I think your superpower, though, is consistency. I think that's what it is, and I think that's what a lot of people find success in. When they pick something, they keep going and they don't stop. I think that's what separates those that we call quote unquote successful from those that fall off the wayside. You know what I'm
correct.
saying?
Once you lock in, once again, I go back to dieting and working out and stuff. When you lock in and you say, I'm gonna eat right, I'm gonna go to the gym, it shows. The results show. And it's the same thing in life. When you lock in and say, all right, I'm going to get this degree, or college ain't for me, I'm gonna learn this trade, or I'm going to go to the military.
Do something
The
positive.
whole thing is doing something to occupy your time in a positive way. Yeah. Because when you go into school, working, and all that, you ain't got time to be hanging out in the streets.
And you're going to start hanging around people that had the same types of goals. You're going to hang around students or people that's after some money the right way.
That's it. And they may be able to put you on to something totally different and totally better. Like I tell the high school kids, a lot of the kids that you talk to right now and care so much about, you might not even talk to them after high school. Yep. And or those same kids might be the same kids that look up to you once they see you off shining, doing what you're supposed to do. Right. One of my friends served 15 years in the penitentiary, and he inboxed me on Facebook like, man, I'm living through you. And I'm like, what you mean? He was like, because I know where you came from. We came from the same place, and I wish I did the same thing. Yeah. But back then, he was hot boy. You know what I'm saying? He was popping back then, but
it's like when they see it now, it's you the goal now.
I tell the kids, it's just like milk, right? If you buy a carton of milk, at some point it expires and you got to put it out. Crime, gang violence, fighting, shooting, all of that has an expiration date.
And it's a lot shorter a lot of those times than a lot of other things.
That's it. Right. And so at some point, it's gonna expire, and it's gone, and it's gonna get put out. So you're gonna either be dead or in jail, or wishing you had made better decisions. So it's like, why go down that turmoil road when you can start now? Especially these young people, like, it's so many opportunities. I ask them to write down their goals, because then the next time I come, I want to bring somebody in that's in that field of study that you can pick their brain on what they did. But most of them got cell phones. Google it. Google your field of study that you want to do. Google, all right, you say you want to drop a mixtape. All right, what happens if you drop a mixtape and it flops? Then what? Or you playing sports and you go to the league and you blow out your Achilles. I'm not a dream killer, but you got to have a backup plan.
You got to be realistic about your goals and how you set them. And then when you setting those goals, you got these high up goals, right? But it's a lot of things in between to get there. And each of those things will help you to elevate to success.
That's it. That's it. It's no, the crazy part about it is a lot of times once you sit and break it down, it makes it easier on your mind. And then all you say is, okay, all I got to do is knock these 2 years out, get this degree, or do this, do that, and boom, I'm on.
And take it inch by inch, like
That's
they
it.
say with football, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. I know I said it to you anyway, but I'm gonna say it publicly. You know, appreciate what you're doing, man. These kids really need it. Just reading some of those letters you got over there, and just seeing those faces and hearing some of the conversation and what they jump back and bounce back with, man. It's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. Look, you remember the Whitney Houston song? I believe the children. I had to sing that in first grade, and I live by it, man. When we retire and we move on, those kids are our future. So we got to start feeding into them and investing in their future so that we all have a better future.
Absolutely. All right, man. Make sure y'all tap in with Clippers and Cops online, clippersandcops.com on .org, my bad, clippersandcops.org, across all social media platforms too, at Clippers and Cops, spelled the regular way. All right, make it easy for you to find. Make sure y'all donate to the cause too, man. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff out of pocket these guys are doing on their own, just making sure that they're saving the community the best way they can, and y'all can too. If you can't do it all, do a little bit. All right, man, we up out of here. Appreciate you, Ty. Thank you, my guy. For sure. All right, man, we gone.